Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So, for my project, I decided to design a set of posters that I can use in my future classroom. So, each of them include a quote that explains a part of my pedagogy and beliefs about my role as a teacher. So, the first one is by Toni Morrison, and she says, "Your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else." And the reason I chose this quote is because not only because I want to always be working to empower and liberate my students in any way possible, but also because I want my students to understand that even if they may have marginalizations, most people do have at least some form of power that they can wield to help other people, and that no matter where they end up in life, that it's important that they are focusing on not only personal growth and financial success, but that they're taking time to dismantle the systems that are hurting those in their community and taking care of the people in their community and spheres of influence. And the next quote is by Rick Riordan, and he says, "Fair means everyone gets what they need." And the reason I included this is because I'm sure you've all heard children say, that's not fair about things. And sometimes they're saying that because something legitimately is unfair, and sometimes they're saying that because maybe they didn't get what they wanted. And so with my future students, I would really love to be able to reframe the conversation around what actually is fair and unfair. And so just helping students to see that, maybe someone else got more or less of something than you, but that's not necessarily unfair if you're both getting what you need. And that also as a teacher, I need to be constantly working to accommodate all of my students and providing them what they need in the moment. And the next quote is by John Dewey, and he says, "Education is not preparation for life, education is life itself." And the reason that I chose this is because it reminds me of the importance of integrating our curriculum with our students' everyday lives. There shouldn't be, I have my school life and my social life and my home life. All of that should be woven together. Our curriculum should be continuous with what the students are experiencing and thinking and feeling. And we should be preparing for the future, but also preparing for the life that our students are already living every day. The next quote is by Martin Luther King, and he says, "Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love." And the reason I chose this is because I think in a lot of American schools, we tend to view justice as, oh, you did something bad, now something bad is going to happen to you, or you're going to get something taken away that you really like. And I think that this is a very punitive way to look at justice, and it doesn't really provide any relief or help to the people that were affected in the beginning by, the original offense. And so as a teacher, when I'm designing my discipline program or my philosophy of discipline, I don't want to be focused on punishments. I want to be focused on restorative justice. And it takes a lot more work, but I want my students to be able to understand that real justice is about love and working together through, conflicts to reach a resolution that's going to be helpful for all parties. The next quote is by Audre Lorde, and she says, "It is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences." And the reason I chose this is because I think that a lot of people, when talking about diversity inclusion, tend to be like, oh, we're all the same. It doesn't matter like what your skin color is, or your religion, or whatever it is. But even though I would say that we all have the same basic human needs, people are vastly different, and that's what's like so beautiful and amazing about life. And I want my students to be able to understand and respect the differences of their peers and the people in their community at large. And the last quote is by W.B. Yeats, and he says, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." And I really love this quote because it just reminds me that as a teacher, I'm not just pouring knowledge into their empty heads. But they already have the kindling, they already have that creativity and those life experiences that they're bringing into the classroom. And it's my job to give them exposure to learning materials and activities that will spark their interest and inspire them to construct their own knowledge.